Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are in tune to the Marvelous Talk program that we get every Wednesday, man. Of course, with your usual subjects. Big Dane, what's going on, man?
What's cracking, y'all? How you doing?
Oh man, we in marvelous land getting it going, man. Big G, how you doing tonight, man?
Man, what's happening, Marvelous Talk? I done spent a lot of time in the rabbit hole. So if I sound like I'm elevated or too low, that's just because the rabbit hole has been calling me in.
Yeah, you might see a bunny tail on the back of his jeans when you get up.
Oh my God. Man, listen. And as always, man, you're here to hear the best in marvelous talk. And we got some things that we want to explore, some stuff we want to talk to y'all about. And man, make sure if you got any questions, hit us up in the chat, because I promise you, this one's going to get real good, real fast. But first, let's get into this, man. And man, look, we got some stuff that we wanted to explore with you guys, man. Of course, you know, here at the Marvelous Talk podcast, when Big G talking about he done dove into the rabbit hole, you know, there's always going to be some good stuff. And of course, Dame is going to give you some great flaming hot takes and some great knowledge. But man, listen, what we want to do first, man, if you're liking what you see and what you hear, make sure you like and subscribe. We're definitely here for you and yours on YouTube, Twitch. Make sure you check us out. We're here on Facebook as well, streaming live. Man, look at this, man. So if you notice, we did this recap after WandaVision. We did a recap after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, we definitely did that. And we did a recap talking about all of the new characters that were introduced. But there's some side characters that I don't believe that we're paying a lot of attention to, that I think that are definitely going to pay off in the series and the movies that we got coming. And we're going to speed through a lot of these because there's some theories that I think we need to explore and just talk about. First one we're going to talk about is Yelena. Definitely, we got Yelena out of this Black Widow movie. What do you guys think about Yelena's character and what part she's going to play moving forward, Dane?
Well, she's definitely going to be in the Hawkeye series, which is supposed to be out this year. Now, I'm like, we got several TV shows, at least 2 more. Well, actually 3 more if you count What If. That's coming out in just a few weeks, actually next week. But you got Ms. Marvel and you've got Hawkeye, both slated to be out by the end of this year, okay? She's definitely going to be in that because of the post-credit scene that we saw in the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm not sure how they're going to position her, but I know for certain she's definitely going to be in that Hawkeye series.
That's dope. That's dope. And Big G, what do you think about Yelena's character moving forward? How do you feel about her in the MCU?
Well, you got to know that Yelena is the new Black Widow. You know, for those that are comic book heads and comic heads, we know that the Black Widow role is multiple. You know, there's just not one character, like how you're seeing the re-dramatization of Captain America become, you know, a new guy. You're going to see Black Widow's character take on a new persona. But the issue is, which way is the MCU going to spin him? Because like Dame has always said, Kevin Feige, he's an habitual line stepper. So he'll jump across and do and say what he wants to do as far as his world with the MCU. So is Yelena going to be a Dark Avenger or a Thunderbolt? Or is Yelena going to be the Black Widow character that up until the actual Avengers conception in the MCU, we didn't know whether or not she was good or bad? So that's the question.
Hey, you know, one thing I want to add to that, G, and that's a very good point. But somebody said something the other day that really, and I brought it up last week, the fact that we don't know if Yelena got dusted or not. You know what I'm saying? From Thanos. Could that have been the reason why Natasha was so adamant about giving her life so that her sister could come back.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
That is something to think about. That is something to think about. And I think you guys have really hit all of my vantage points with Yelena. I think she's a great character, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with her. And of course, we've got these two guys, Billy and Tommy. Definitely them coming to the MCU and a big part. And I think, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. What do you guys think about these two characters? And Dane, briefly, give me what you're thinking about these two characters.
Well, we know that we heard them screaming at the end of WandaVision, the season finale of WandaVision. I believe the next time we see them, they won't be the little types that you showed in the little thing there. I believe that they're going to be teenagers, and they'll be the full Wiccan and Speed that we know of in the comics. So that's what I'm anticipating. The next time we see them, they're not going to be little dudes no more. I think they're going to be kind of, be the preteens or full automated, 17, 18-year-olds. So.
And Big G, what do you think about, these two characters in the MCU?
They got to spin it that way, man. They're young Avengers, whether we like it or not, or we know it or not, they're young Avengers. They have what's Kevin Feige's actually.
Think
teams, even without throwing those super teams in, right? So he'll have the Young Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. He's building himself out so he can build worlds.
I think so too. But I think he's building out to build worlds as well.
Yeah,
definitely. Then we have White Vision. We got White Vision, not Vision, but White Vision. So, Dane, what do you think about White Vision? How do you feel? How do you see him being used moving in? And definitely, what do you think he adds to the MCU?
Two scenarios come to my mind. Number one, possible West Coast Avenger, because that's where we see White Vision in the comics. If I'm correct,
yes, sir.
And then also the other side of it is, could he be roped into this whole Dark Avenger / Thunderbolts that Val is putting together, which later on I might have a theory for who Val's working for. We'll talk about that another time. I think I told you fellas off camera my scenario on that. But that's my two takes on Vision. Either he's a West Coast Avenger if they're going to build that team, or if they're going the route of the Dark Avenger / Thunderbolt route. Yeah, man. The way they left his character is literally, it's TBD, man. I really don't know what they're gonna do with him, but he's definitely gonna come back.
Yeah. And G, what do you think about White Vision?
I got a different spin on him, man. I think he can definitely be a West Coast Avenger or be a member of the new Young Avengers team that they're putting together. But I think that Vision is going to play a pivotal role in possibly bringing back this guy we call Ultron. Because Ultron in the comics never dies. He comes back over and over and over and over and over again. So we don't really know. We know that he got touched with a piece of the consciousness of the Vision that existed inside of Wanda's mind. That's what made his eyes change. But, man, we don't know. We don't know good, bad, or indifferent. And even more so, where's the dude at? We got to find out where he's at.
Buddy just disappeared.
He hauled out.
Yeah, it was it. And so, right after that same show, we got this lady, Agatha all along. Definitely her being introduced into the MCU. You guys, man, just as a whole, what's your spin on Agatha Harkness being brought into the MCU?
Man, dude. So I don't like how they left her. I mean, just being honest, I don't like how they, as powerful as she was, how they just kind of like, even though I know Wanda was more powerful and she handled the business, but I can easily see Agatha being brought into that fold with all those, you got your fake Captain America dude, you got Yelena. I can see her brought into that same fold, Val told old girl, and she even told John Walker, she said things are about to get real strange. And if anybody can understand strange, is is definitely Agatha Harkness. So yeah, so that's my thing is I would love to see her brought into that fold and be the I guess the dark Doctor Strange or dark Wanda of that team. So I don't know.
What about you, G?
Well, Agatha is a subplot character that's integral throughout the comic book lore. She's huge when it comes to the Richards family, when it comes to Scarlet Witch, which is Wanda Maximoff. She's even tied to the High Evolutionary and some of the X-Men lore. So as far as being a subplot character, she's huge. However, I think in the MCU, Agatha Harkness is one of them Kang agents. She was working all along with Kang to keep the timeline, because that's why she told Wanda in the show, you don't have a clue what you actually released. We were all thrown because the dark hole was thrown in there, and we But now that the Lokis that went to a finale, and we know that the one above all, or the last one, or the one who remains, or Nathan Richards, whatever you want to call him, that dude was working, had people working throughout the whole timeline to keep it all raveled up. So I think Agatha ran into Kang maybe a long time ago. And Kang was like,
you brought up
Agatha done been around for a minute. She done ate quite a few ham sandwiches, so she's been around for a minute.
You brought up something, G, that I just wanted to share because it reminded me of something. There's been and you guys know this too, there's been this consistent rumor that the two shows were synced up. You had WandaVision and you had the end of Loki, that those last two episodes that the rumor, everybody was like, oh, it's synced up. The director of Loki, she straight up debunked it and said that was not the case. So, just letting it be known out there that was a theory that people had. In fact, believe it or not, they actually filmed that scene before they filmed WandaVision scene. From what they said. So
they probably kept her in the dark. Kevin Feige is a master genius. He's done played this whole thing out.
Whoa. Time out. They filmed Loki scene before the WandaVision scene?
Yep.
Yeah.
But that don't seem fishy to you?
Feige, man. It's all about Feige.
So she may have never known, but the people at WandaVision did, right?
They ain't telling. Kevin Feige ain't telling nothing.
It could still work. She may have debunked it.
Yeah,
but it can still work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely gonna work because of the fact that we heard the twins, and the only way she could have heard the twins was the multi. Exactly.
The multi.
So that alone covers it for me, is the fact that she heard the twins, and it was because the multiverse had already expanded.
Check this out.
Moving on.
Hold, wait. One thing. Kevin Feige admitted years later that the Peter Parker character was built into Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3.
Yeah, as a little boy.
Nobody else knew but Feige. Come on, man. He's a mad genius, man.
Yeah, he's a mad genius. Moving on, we got our next character we want to look at and spend a couple seconds on is this guy, my guy, Baron Zemo. Baron. You know what I'm saying? I would have had him dancing and getting it, but I didn't have my dancing gift. What do you think about Zemo moving forward in the MCU? G, talk to me about it.
It's pivotal. He's definitely. This dude had communication with Val from the raft. Like him and Val was hollering at each other from the raft. So either he's in cahoots with Val, or Val has all power to be able to get access to him, but he's pulling strings behind the scenes. Because what we found out in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, this dude's on Tony Stark level with bread. Zemo's paid. So,
he's a baron.
Yeah, he controls and got a lot of access to a lot of stuff. But in the comic book, Zemo is the founder of the Thunderbolts. So y'all that don't know about the comic, it ain't Thunderbolt Ross. It's Zemo. Zemo's the guy that's pulling strings, for the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So what about Dane? What about you? How do you feel about Baron Zemo moving forward?
Oh man, he's just waiting in the shadows. He waiting for his moment. That whole thing of him being on the raft, like G said, that was designed. That was him waiting for his next moment, And so Zemo is definitely, we will see him again. one shape, form, or fashion, we will see Zemo again.
I think so. I mean, Zemo is very calculated. So every move he made for real, right? He made for real. So the next character we have here is Taskmaster. I know a lot of people did not like how this character was introduced, but character's here now. So what do you think about the future of this character, G?
If anybody character is going to ride off into the sunset, this is the character. This the one that Marvel, Kevin Feige might have just wrote for just this one show. And it's a shame, man, because Taskmaster is huge as far as Marvel comic book lore is concerned. Listen, Taskmaster took on all the Avengers by himself. He took them all on, man. I'm talking about the Giant Man, Black Panther, Hawkeye, Wasp, Captain America. He took that team on one-on-one and almost beat him. So Taskmaster is huge, but the way they spun it, I know that they had to create a villain for a show, but I don't know, man. Maybe like I said, this might be the one that gets aced out and you never see again.
All right. And Dane, how you feel about Taskmaster?
Well, my take on it is this might not be the final version. Maybe there's another Taskmaster that represents the bad one that G is talking about. Maybe this one was a catalyst for that one, because we know this one turned, but they made it seem like the Taskmaster whole issue is like a program. You know what I'm saying? Like a programmable type, character. So what if somebody finds that same technology but just really goes hard on it? So I mean, I would see, maybe they may find a way to make it where it's actually a viable villain, in the MCU, rather than somebody that's a, person that turned. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But like G said, underwhelming bad guy Marvel, definitely. This Taskmaster was definitely in that level. It was just to give us a quote unquote bad guy for a movie.
Right.
Could be. And next character, they weren't even super soldiers. They weren't even.
You could have left him off.
So, Dane, talk to me. How do you feel about this new character, and where do you see him going? As far as the MCU is concerned.
So he got recruited by Val, and he was all happy, talking about I'm back, and I'm like, I'm back for what? What you gonna do? So I don't know, man. This dude is a sore loser. He's a I don't know. I'm not really excited about him at all. If I see him again, we just gonna continue making fun of him. They weren't even super soldiers. So that's gonna always be his line that goes with him. So yeah, man, he's inconsequential unless they find some really amazing plot to put him in that just really like, dang, John Walker came back hard. But other than that, he's just a crybaby.
What about you? G? Talk to me.
Man, I got a different take than Dame. I think that John Walker is going to be pivotal in forming this new team. I think they're going to rally around the whole John Walker idea that I got played by the best of the best. And I can't be in the superhero circle. And then he's going to be like the Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers Cap for real. I think he's a rallying point and a rallying cry. He wasn't in the comic books. He was pivotal, but he wasn't like a super pivotal character, because we know there's been many of folks that's given the super soldier formula. However, I just know that moving forward, there's no way they're going to let that battle between Falcon, who's the new Cap, versus John Walker, who thought he was the Cap, die off. They're gonna build on that plot for real.
I don't know if they're gonna do that. I think you're gonna have because remember, we've said this and I'll continue to say this. We're focusing on the anti-heroes. So riding with the theme that things are gonna get weird, I think you're gonna see a lot of team up bad with team up good to kind of accomplish some certain things. And it's going to be a whole bunch of stabbing each other in the back kind of things that's going on, right? A whole bunch of twists and turns, because we're entering into a multiverse where so many different possibilities are happening all at the same time, right? And speaking of multiverse, this guy,
drop the mic. Drop the mic.
This guy has introduced the multiverse along with Wanda. And how do y'all feel about him going forth? I mean, he's been 4 characters. He's been 4 characters already.
Yeah, because he was he played Jonathan Majors. They used his voice to do the quote unquote timekeepers. If that's what you're talking about. Yeah, they did that. Actually, man, I read something interesting yesterday. I don't know how viable a source it is, but they claim this is what they claim. They claim that there are going to be multiple actors who are going to play the role of Kang. So I don't know. We'll see. He's definitely Kang the Conqueror. We know that. He's going to be Kang the Conqueror because he's already cast in Ant-Man Quantumania. Probably we'll see him in other movies and other iterations later on. But there's a claim out there that there's going to be multiple actors. I don't know how many. They didn't state, but multiple actors playing the different variations of Kang. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. But that goes to my theory, y'all. I think this could be because somebody said this and it really made a lot of sense. What if the person that Val is reporting to is a variation of the corporate version of the Kang the Conqueror character?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, if I roll with any theory, that's Val. All of them working for him. Agatha, the ancient one.
Froze on us.
He froze on us.
Agatha did it to him.
Agatha, you shouldn't have been talking about Agatha, man.
Man, I don't care nothing about Agatha. All of them is working for the one who remains, man. They was all listen.
Hey, see, they don't want.
In order for you to manipulate a timeline, right? You got to have multiple chess pieces, man. You got to. If you manipulating a timeline, you got to have a whole bunch of people working for you, man.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Sense. But let me say this about my man, Mr. Nathan Richards, right? I could not be more pleased that Marvel made him the villain through phase 4 going into phase 5. If there's only one guy that I would have picked to play that role as the one that's going to pull them all back together to fight everybody. And that's Victor Von Doom. If it wasn't going to be Victor Von Doom, it had to be Kang. It had to be Kang, man. So I'm like when I found out Thanos was the big bad, I was hyped. I'm way more hyped for Jonathan Majors, man. Way more hyped.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing. I read something the other day, man. I just saw a video that said that Iron Man, when he was doing all of his time scenarios, he may have actually saw Kang.
Yeah.
I think, so right now, everything's on the table, you guys. Kevin Feige has taken everything. You know how you go and you're looking for something specific and you just pull out the drawer and you pour it out on the table? That's what Kevin Feige did. Like, hey, man, let's see what happens. Let's put it all on the table, and he did that. And another character that was introduced in this dispensation is my girl.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau.
So, what you think about her as a character moving forward, Sean?
Well, we don't know if she's Spectrum. We don't know if she's Captain Marvel. We don't know who she actually is, but we know for sure she's going to be at least 2 more movies. Mm-hmm. She's going to be, at least the TV show, Miss Marvel, she's appearing in that. And we know for sure she's going to be in the Marvels production. Mm-hmm. I could see her really getting spun as the forefront leader of the Young Avengers. She's going to be a little bit more seasoned. She's more grounded, but she's got superpowers which she don't really even understand yet. Yeah. And so as she grows and develops, I could see her. Yeah. I see her being the captain.
Dame, how many leaders the Young Avengers gonna have? While ago with Vision. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, if they done gave the Young Avengers 4 leaders already.
They're gonna flip for it. Every week they're gonna flip for it.
But listen, so you all understand, right? Like this Avengers comic book that's sitting up behind me, the Avengers roster, team members and team leaders changed constantly.
They do change.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have to, and then when they started splitting off.
But G, let's stop there though. You know, when it comes to your comic book knowledge, we don't question that. But what we've always said is in the MCU, they take creative liberty, and they're definitely not going to do a whole bunch of the flip-flops. So, you know what I mean?
So let me ask you a question. Who was the team leader on the last rendition of the Avengers?
Captain America.
Nope. Tony Stark was. Tony Stark was the whole reason why they got put together as a team. He was recruited by Nick Fury to go around and get him.
That's not, if you remember what Ultron, in Age of Ultron, Tony Stark said he leads them. I just make everybody look good. So that came out of Tony Stark's mouth.
And I get what you're saying. But it's always Cap that they follow and rally around. It's always Cap they follow and rally around. And Cap was the focal point, which we're going to talk about Cap here in just a minute before we get out.
Now, it's not to say that Iron Man wasn't influential. He was definitely influential. But I think in the end, like Amar said, I think they just rallied around Cap because, I mean, he was Cap. I mean, look at what happened in Endgame. You know, he's the only one there getting ready to go fight Thanos. He's like, strap up my jacked up arm around the shield. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Let me take this busted Hasbro shield and go over here and try to fight. You know what I'm saying? So, and speaking of shield, we got my young bull. He ready. Eli Bradley, otherwise known as Patriot. You know, definitely.
What you want, Black Falcon?
Definitely one of the young Avengers. And what do you think about him moving forward, Big G?
Key player, definitely be a young Avenger. I mean, you just put the picture up of the comic book cast standing behind him. You know, look at all them people that's in that picture, and then look at all the people that we've already been introduced to. And the only one you see stature right there. So that's the young. I mean, that's Scott Lang's daughter.
Casey Lang.
Right. So you see the Hawkeye down there, and there goes Wicked and Speed. There's Wicked and Speed, and so we haven't got a Hulkling yet, which is the Hulk. And up there in the corner, that's Iron Lad. Well, for y'all that don't know, we got Iron Lad because that's Kang. That's a spin off of Kang. So,
and get this though. That hits Damon's theory right over the head, or what Damon have heard, because Iron Lad is a different person, but same person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's playing Kang. So that could very well happen, right? That could very well happen easily. Definitely. So we got two more. Well, one last character, and then we're going to explore this theory. We got my guy.
I got a lot of energy.
Red Guardian. He has a lot of energy. I have a lot of energy.
We tell that to my wife tonight.
Oh my God. Hey, so Dave, what you think about him moving forward?
Dude, I don't know how much we're gonna see of him. He was definitely the comic relief in that movie, man. So I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, he ended with like kind of like being once again kind of the father of that group. But yeah, man, he definitely every time you seen him on the screen, you just laughed at him because he was funny, man. Oh my goodness,
that a lot of energy coming. Was wow, boy. That boy.
I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah.
He was a wild boy. Boy. G, what you think about this character, man? Talk to me about the Red Guardian.
You know, even though he was comic relief, man, I don't think Kevin Feige's going to waste him because we've already had a confirmation that we have seen our first mutant on screen, right? Ursa Major was our first mutant. You know, he was there. He was on screen. Now, he didn't transform into the big old bear, right? So the Red Guardian, like how we're talking about how Cap was pivotal, the Red Guardian is pivotal in the Soviet super soldiers.
All right. Stop right there. Now we get into our theory of the week. Right? You guys, I'm going to bring you theories of the week, and we're definitely going to talk about them, even moving through the what if. This is going to be one of them things that we talk about. You can even catch them on TikTok, and we're going to do it. So Big G and I, along with Dame, we have explored this theory before, but I'm going to look at it from a different angle. So now we had the Red Guardian telling a story about him and Captain America actually fighting.
Right.
Now, what we know is historically, these two have never met, right? We know that historically, comic book never met. Also, what we know, Tony Stark's talking to his father. As he's talking to his father, the dates are not adding up. How do we know that the dates are not adding up? In Iron Man 2, he's talking to David Banner. He's talking to Dr. Banner, excuse me. That's my hip hop coming out. He's talking to, it's Iron Man 3. He's talking to Dr. Banner, and as he's talking to him, he said his initial injury happened on one day, which would have made him born in 69, but he wasn't born when they went back.
Right.
So now we have old Cap sitting on the bench when at the end of Endgame. So we have old Cap sitting on the bench at the end of Endgame, who we know nothing about. Did old Cap? But let's even back up some more. With Loki, we saw somebody who looked like Agent Carter. Correct?
Yeah.
We saw somebody who looked like Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Now,
they said that wasn't him. The director debunked that too. She said that wasn't Peggy Carter.
You can debunk it, but listen, hear me out. So if by chance Cap did go back and get with Peggy, which we saw him go back and get with Peggy, we know that's true. That would make them in violation. They're both variants at that point.
Correct.
That would make them variants.
Right.
Correct.
That would change things.
Correct.
From that point on. Now, what if old Cap did have a run-in with the Red Guardian and we just don't know it?
Right.
What if this whole prison that is full of Russian super soldiers, for some odd reason, we know the whole prison is full of Russian super soldiers. What if all of that was put together by this change and everything that happened? So my point and my theory is, and I've always thought this, the one time Cap was selfish, he broke the multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. There's no doubt. It's no doubt. It's no doubt because he changed things. Even if it was just one thing, even if it was just the one thing of him being with Peggy. But I think, just like we all know, when you make one change with time, it's gonna have reverberations across the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna take the theory one step further because like I told y'all, I've been down in that rabbit hole and it's getting real thick down there.
You got
man.
the ears.
Right. So I'm gonna take it a step further. I think when Cap went back with Peggy, he ran into Nathan Richards. And I think Nathan Richards cut a deal with him. And Nathan Richards say, you can go and live on this timeline, right? However, you work for me. And I think that the old Cap version that you see is the precursor of who Val is and where she came from. I think that the old Cap went back and created a new shield that we don't know nothing about, because we've seen in the movies already that they was trying to form shield way before with Henry Pym and Tony Stark's dad and all whatever else. I think that the old Cap went back and cut a deal with Nathan Richards, and he was his basically guard dog or police dog. And so Red Guardian and Cap did fight.
What about Hail Hydra? That whole time. See, like what Dame just said, there were ripples all through the timeline. And I think when Cap went back and stayed, it broke it. I'm believing that if Cap didn't break it, he started a whole bunch of things in motion that got us to this place. We already know without a shadow of a doubt. Y'all can say we reaching if you want, but you heard it here first on Marvelous Talk. You heard it here. These three handsome, scrapping men have told y'all. We told y'all. Get this. It changed before we got to this point. Tony Stark's father was proof. Him being with Agent Carter is proof. The Red Guardian talking about he fought Captain America is proof. This woman who looks like Peggy Carter, who they just happened to insert in the movie for no odd reason. I mean, it was one of those things that didn't even have to be there. And Loki even gave a look like, what is this? It's proof. There's some things that are happening in the background that Kevin doesn't want us to see, right? And I guarantee you guys, this is my theory, I guarantee you guys that we're going to see this pay off. We're going to see this Captain America going and staying with Peggy Carter is going to mean more to this whole timeline than we ever thought or could have imagined. That's our theory of the week. You heard it here first. Marvelous Talk. What you think about that, Dane? Give it to me, man. I know you got a hot one on it.
Hey, man, it's like at this point when they start playing with time, it's like Russian roulette. It's like, hey, spin them up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think we've said that from day one, off camera, on show, whatever. But just how they gonna do it, I have not the foggiest clue. I don't even know where to begin. It's like you said. That analogy, I don't know who said it. I think G said it or you said it. I don't know about throwing everything on the bed out of the drawer and just picking. That's where we at. It's like I don't know what he gonna pick next. So
listen to this, man. Listen to this. What era are we in as far as?
I tell you, he needs to stop messing with Agatha. Agatha's messing.
Repeat what you said, G. We missed.
What era are we in as far as Marvel is concerned? What era?
The anti-hero.
Right. So who would be the biggest anti-hero except for turning Captain America evil? They did it in the comic books, like Ma said already. That whole Hail Hydra thing. Oh, Cap's an agent. Cap's an agent. Cap is working for Nathan Richards, man. I'm trying to tell you, he's all part of the big plan. And listen, this is the whole thing. At the end of Loki told the little time clock thing, Miss Minutes told Loki and his variant, oh, he's already worked it out where both of you guys can survive. He's already got it to where you guys can have this and you guys can have that. And you guys can do this. And you guys can do that.
So if he could do it for them, he could do it for Cap or anybody else.
Anybody.
He already did it. He did it already. He already did it. Cap's a triple, quadruple, triple all over the place. Agent, believe me, man.
It's crazy to think about this, you guys, but literally. The multiverse is fractured. I feel like Sean, I feel like Big G in the sense that the ancient one I know is an agent. You can say what you want to say. She was working for He Who Remains the whole time. She knew who Doctor Strange was before he ever even. I mean, she had knowledge of him because she said Stephen Strange is working 5 blocks up that way, right? Yeah. So she had knowledge of the time ahead of her, right? So somebody gave her that information.
So let me ask you this. I'm gonna throw this out here. If Kang is doing all of this stuff, man, think about it. It blows my mind. Somebody threw this scenario out. Maybe this needs to be theory of the week next week. But is there such a thing as free will? Because this cat, think about it. If Doctor Strange saw all of those 14 million ways, but there was only one, that was the one that Kang wanted him to see. He didn't want him to see no other way. So his brother's controlling. I mean, he's controlling that much stuff. It's like, dang, this dude, how you gonna stop him?
Dang, he said, I laid down the path.
Yeah.
All you did is just
walk on it.
Walk down the path.
Yeah.
I set it up. He told you already what he done did. Everybody and he created a TVA to off people that didn't buy into his justice. That's what he did. Right.
Yeah, so, but sidebar, we have a comment from Darcel. Darcel, what's up with the DC Comics? I love Batman. I'm happy to be a huge Batman fan, and I apologize. I don't apologize. Let me say that. I don't apologize at all for being a Batman fan. I love Batman just as much as I love Black Panther. I mean, you see it. It is what it is. I'm a Batman fan. I've always been a Batman fan. Definitely. Now, I'm not a homer. I'm not a Batman homer. I'm not somebody who thinks Batman can whoop everybody. So I'm not saying that. But back to and then before we go, I'm going to leave this alone. We gave you our theory of the week. We're definitely going to move after this, right? So here's the deal. You got to know, like I said, the Ancient One was working with Nathan Richards. He who remains. She had to have been. She's going out of her way to protect one timeline.
Right.
This whole time, even explained it so that we could hear it in our own ears.
Mm-hmm.
This one, but then she went back. Here's another proof. When she was teaching Doctor Strange, when she was teaching Doctor Strange, she taught about a multiverse. How you teaching about a multiverse if it don't exist?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm buying it. I'm buying the tickets, Mark.
Oh man, get this. This was another great theory about the whole Kang scenario, setting things up. Check this out. They said, why was he so? Now I saw this with man that made me. I want to throw this at y'all and just see what you thought about it. But they said, remember how Renslayer said that we know it was Kang, but she said the timekeepers allowed the stuff that happened with the Avengers to happen because it needed to happen.
Yeah.
This dude pointed a really good scenario that if you notice, Kang, all of his little time manipulation stuff that he was using, maybe that was because in the past, because of what Tony Stark did with his time device, maybe that was the catalyst for his time device. So he needed Tony Stark to invent that, was the whole reason why he had to allow it all to happen so he could have that same technology that he's using in the 31st century.
That makes so much sense, man. Everything builds on everything. That makes so much sense. So you have to allow one to get the other. You know what I mean? Definitely. But listen, like I said, we could swim through this theories all day long. But listen, we got What If starting, and we're definitely gonna explore. We're gonna explore our theories moving forward in this universe, because in this dispensation, there's so many different ways we can go. We're definitely not going to go chasing Mephisto. Now, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We've never know.
Mephisto.
Never know.
We've lost. But definitely we wanted to just get on here and discuss and let y'all know, don't forget these characters. You're going to see them again. And definitely, I want to ask you guys before we leave, favorite character introduced thus far. Dane, give it to me. Who's your favorite character introduced thus far?
The ones that we talked about tonight?
Yeah, out of all of them, out of the series, out of this dispensation of Marvel, your favorite character.
Phase 4. Man, I'm gonna have to say Monica, man, because I don't know where they're gonna take her. So I really like the way they represented her as a character in WandaVision. She was strong, and the foundation they laid, it's gonna be really cool to see where they take her. So I think of all of them, she's the one that intrigued me the most.
All right, so who was the funniest? I gotta ask you that.
The funniest, maybe I would say, I gotta say Zemo. For me, Zemo was a trip. Especially I could watch the dance all night long.
All night long. Zemo was getting it. Hey, so Big G, favorite character introduced thus far?
Nathan Richards, Kang the Conqueror. I mean, it's hands down. However, I gotta say this: Isaiah Bradley made me feel good, man. Isaiah Bradley, that was, man. Listen, that made me feel good as an African American male in the United States of America. I felt good because what I saw about giving homage and honor to a person that set the groundwork for a fictional character You know, that made me feel good, man. But
Yeah, that was awesome.
but by far, Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah. So
he ain't Kang yet, though.
So let me ask you a question.
But I hear you, G.
Yeah, as far as comic relief, who was your favorite one?
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. Okay.
Red Guardian, man. Ridiculous.
All day long. I got it. I got it. So I think my favorite character is definitely gonna have to be He Who Remains. I think Jonathan played the heck out of his role. And I look forward to him being a darker version of himself. And then man, it's tied between the Red Guardian and Mobius. Both of them were hilarious. I mean, Owen definitely always plays his parts, and he's definitely funny. But man, the Red Guardian was funny. Yeah. I mean, he was super funny, and wasn't supposed to. It was a straight comic, and it was really good. He was straight funny, and I loved it, man. I loved it. But definitely, anybody got any parting shots before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just got one thing to say to the audience. As we say, like and subscribe. Y'all, please make sure that you're tuning into our podcast that we have weekly, as well as our spinoff shows, man. We got a lot of good content coming up. We're going to have some special guests that's going to blow you guys' mind. So as moving forward, we appreciate all the people that's roll with us and that's riding with us. But y'all, we got something big coming up the road. So thank you for starting out with us. But believe me, Marvelish is on its way. And thank you.
Dang, you have any parting shots?
No, man, I second what my man says. It's definitely, just let people know. If you enjoying the show, let somebody else that loves Marvel, that loves, these things that we're discussing on the show, let them know, man, and spread the word. We definitely want to let the word out of what we're doing. And get ready for What If. We're going to be covering every episode of that. That's coming starting next week. So that's going to be an awesome series. We got Shang-Chi coming up not too long after that. So just stay on board. For more
Trailer 2 is off the hook. Trailer 2
just came out today. Yep, second trailer. Yep.
Hey, man, and listen, stay tuned for more Marvelous talk. We out of here till next week.